Hey y'all, welcome to the channel. Today we're checking out top 10 shocking things banned in the UK.
1st of February 2024, it will also be illegal to own a XL Bully.
Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we're looking at strange things it's illegal to own or do here in Britannia.
See, this looks like this is a proper machine though. This looks like it could do some damage.
Yes, I bet it could.
Reporting on active court cases. In some countries, like parts of the US, it's legal not only to report on ongoing or active court cases, but in some instances to record and broadcast them as they happen. You may be surprised to learn that doing this is completely illegal in the UK, according to the 1981 Contempt of Court Act.
Wow.
Essentially, it's very difficult to report on ongoing court cases in the UK, which is all done so that the press reports can't prejudice the jury in a case. So, reporting on active cases in the UK will all be very matter-of-fact, and you can still be held in contempt if you break this law, even if you're not intending to prejudice a jury.
My gosh, that's actually a great idea. Yeah, that seems so foreign. So, in the US, the judge determines whether or not cameras can be allowed in the courtroom, but pretty much any case, reporters can report on it. They're in the courtroom with it happening, and then they come out and they say, this happened, this happened, this happened. They report it straight up right away. That's actually a great idea because, well, as we're seeing now, there are some court cases going on in the US that are, I feel like, the press is being used as a political campaign. So, yeah, this would remedy that to some degree, I bet. Great idea. Let's do that.
Chlorinated chicken.
Chicken pieces caught in machinery. Chicken pieces and innards covering the floor. Flooded floor areas. And water leaking from machinery.
Oh my god, that's
With the
disgusting.
UK's exit from the European Union, there was a lot of talk about a potential food trading deal being made with the United States. But one particular product became a key part of the case against the deal: chlorinated chicken, banned in the EU.
It's not the chlorine itself that's the problem. It's the fact that it allows chickens to be stored in horrific conditions. I mean, they're not able to move. They're like the living dead, these chickens.
In America, it's normal for raw chicken to be washed in chlorine to make it safer to eat, as American chickens are kept in worse
That's hard to
conditions than
look at,
chickens here, which
honestly.
means the meat carries a greater risk of bacteria and disease.
And even though it makes for cheaper meat, it is a practice the British public finds hard to swallow.
You also can't eat raw eggs in
Good.
America, because the way the US washes eggs actually makes them more unsafe to eat.
Right. The way chickens are treated in the US is horrible. Sometimes you'll be driving on the highway and you'll see a truck, a semi-truck, full of cages and cages stacked on each other, and there's just like 2 or 3 chickens in each cage just sitting there. They look really sad and they're just like wasting away. Although I do buy organic free-range chicken, so hopefully that's better.
Polish potatoes. If you're found to have been importing potatoes into Britain grown in Poland, you'll be in a lot of trouble. Because
Really?
since the 2004 Polish Potatoes Act, this has been an offence. But why? And why Polish potatoes specifically? Well, because at the time, there was an outbreak of ring rot in potatoes in Poland. This isn't really a threat to humans, luckily, but if ring rot were to arrive in the UK and spread through our native potato population, the damage to potato farmers would be catastrophic. Many more countries have ring rot, and there are quarantine systems in place to try and prevent the disease from establishing itself here.
You don't want that ring rot in your potatoes. So that's kind of, that's not shocking. That makes sense. Keep your potato diseases out. Otherwise, no more fish and chips. Maybe the fish, but where are the chips? The chips are the best part, usually.
Peeing in public. You may find this shocking if you've heard the well-known myth that urinating in public is legal here in some very specific circumstances. For instance, if you're pregnant, or, if you're a man, if you're weighing onto one of your car's rear wheels. In fact, urinating in public at all is against the 1986 Public Order Act and illegal. Yes, even if you're pregnant. Of course, the police are rarely, if ever, going to arrest or prosecute somebody for doing this, especially if they're caught short in the middle of nowhere, or, again, pregnant. You could well be for doing so if you get caught though, no matter which part of your car you're relieving yourself on.
So he's saying at one point it was legal to pee in public as long as you were peeing on your own tire, or if you were pregnant. So there was a point where pregnant women were walking around and just peeing whenever they felt like it. Interesting. You know, whenever I go to New Orleans, at some point in the evening, I will pee in public. This also seems like a rational rule, though. Don't pee outside. I've done it. I will still do it. What am I saying? It's kind of unfair that they have these statues peeing in public constantly, but you can't do it. What's up with that? They're taunting us with their statues. Little baby penis statues peeing in a fountain. It's giving us the wrong message.
Flying a kite. This popular pastime has been enjoyed by children and enthusiasts
What?
for centuries, but it's actually against the law to fly a kite in
What?
public in London, which is bad news for Mary Poppins. It's all to stop people from being a nuisance with their kites and, for instance, trying to fly one around Piccadilly Circus and annoying everybody. But there are lots of rules about kite flying across the country, including how high you're allowed to fly one, so that it doesn't
Really?
affect air traffic. According to the
that
Kite
makes sense.
Society of Great Britain, you shouldn't be flying a kite higher than 60 metres or within 5 kilometres of an aerodrome.
That is shocking. It's against the law to fly a kite in London. Just for annoying people? Would that be annoying? I guess so. Well, actually, yeah, you could hurt people with a kite because, you know, sometimes those kites get caught in the wind and they like dive down. You could hurt somebody. You could cut somebody. That makes sense now that I'm thinking of it. Flying a kite is dangerous.
Suspiciously holding salmon. In 1986,
Suspiciously.
a law called the Salmon Act was passed to protect the UK's native salmon fisheries. But this law had the effect of making it illegal to, quote, handle salmon in suspicious circumstances. It's really
What?
all to crack down on dodgy meat and to criminalise people buying and selling illegally fished salmon
Okay.
from a non-registered fishery. But what exactly makes handling of the salmon suspicious?
Yeah.
Well, if you find yourself in a back alley late at night buying cheap salmon from the back of someone's car boot, you might be breaking this law.
Oh,
And
okay.
in 2009, it was amended to include all fish, just when you thought it was safe to suspiciously handle eels and trout.
When he first said that, I thought he was referring to putting your finger in the backside of the fish or something like that. But okay, don't buy illegal fish. That makes sense, right?
Killing swans. Britain has a lot of laws protecting our native bird species, but it's popularly believed that the monarch owns all the swans in the UK, and therefore killing a swan is treason. This isn't exactly
Wow.
true, though. The king actually doesn't own all the swans in the UK,
Okay, how could
only
he?
the wild
How
or
could
unclaimed mute swans near Windsor Castle. Killing a swan usually isn't treasonous. However, it is still a crime in accordance with the Wildlife and Countryside Act of 1981 to kill or take wild animals. This applies to all our protected wildlife species, not just swans. In early 2023, a man from Abingdon was arrested and found guilty of killing a goose.
I need some clarity on what exactly a swan is. Is a swan a goose? Swans are birds of the genus Cygnus within the family Anatidae. The swan's closest relative include the geese and ducks. Swans are grouped closely with related geese in the subfamily, so they're not geese, but they're similar. Is it illegal to kill a goose? Geese are a protected species. Wow. The act makes it an offense to kill, injure, damage, or remove their nests without a license. My goodness. Geese are jerks. I don't know if you've ever encountered them, but they're really mean. They'll chase after you, they'll attack you. We can't do anything back to them. Just gotta sit there and take it. It's not fair. Where are my human rights? Why does a goose have more rights than I do? Birds.
Being drunk in a pub. You probably already know this one, but it's still true that it's against the law to be drunk in a pub in England and
It
Wales.
happens every day.
Not just the pub, but anywhere in public, in fact. It's also an
Wow.
offence to knowingly sell alcohol to a drunk person. All these rules can make a career as a publican or bartender even harder, since refusing to sell alcohol to intoxicated people will generally harm business. But studies have shown that the law is regularly ignored. Unless you're
Yeah.
being a menace, or so drunk you can't look after yourself at all, you're probably still going to get served in most places in the UK.
It's illegal to be drunk in a pub. How? What? That doesn't make sense. If a cop walks into a bar, probably 40 to 50% of those people in the bar are gonna be drunk. Probably, maybe more. That's kind of one of those unfair rules that just puts a blanket illegality over a lot of people, and then the cops can just choose whether or not to enforce it for whatever reason. Oh, I don't like you. You're drunk in a pub. Taking you away. That seems like entrapment a little bit. It's illegal to be drunk in a pub. That's like it's illegal to be hungry in a restaurant. It's illegal to be in the air while you're flying on a plane. It's illegal to steer a car while you're driving a car. It's illegal to fart in McDonald's. That one is shocking. Also, look at the pour from this tap. That's about empty.
Or so drunk you can't look after yourself at all, you're probably still
About
going
empty.
to get served in most
tap is
places in
tapped.
the UK. Dog breeds.
Now, this breed killed 4 people here this year. It's the top killer. If it had been banned, then those 4 people might still be alive today, mightn't they?
Believe it or not, you're allowed to keep nearly all animals as pets in the UK if you have the proper license. This includes dangerous wild animals like tigers and wolves. But there are certain breeds of dog that have been banned. These are Pit Bull
bulls.
Terriers, the Japanese Tosa, Dogo Argentinos, and Fila Brasieros.
More people should be making sure if they own a dog that is likely to unnerve or frighten somebody else, that they should be able to control that.
Later in 2023, it's reported that American XL Bullies are going to be the 5th banned breed on this list. You can still keep banned dogs, however, as long as you have a certificate of exemption, though getting this is a lengthy process. But there's actually no real evidence that banning dog breeds actually does reduce the number of dog attacks.
The majority of these dogs are wonderful family pets if they're handled sensibly.
Yeah, those pit bulls, the thing that makes them attack is they have this extreme love and loyalty to their owners. They're such sweet dogs. They're so loyal, but that also makes them want to protect those people that they love to the nth degree. I guess it makes them kill people. That's unfortunate. They're so sweet. They're so sweet in the right conditions, you know? It's not like they're euthanizing all the pit bulls or anything. They're just saying you can't own these, which is probably good for the people and the dogs, really. The dogs don't want to be in that situation. Bring them to America, we'll take them.
Offensive weapons.
The measures we have around guns
Offensive
are very
weapons.
strict, some of the strictest in the world, and gun deaths are rare here.
It's well known that the UK has some of the strictest laws on weapons anywhere in the world, but if you're from abroad, you may be surprised to learn exactly which items are classed as offensive weapons, and might think we've gone too far.
Do you think people realise how many guns there are in this country?
I don't think they do.
Most knives are completely illegal here, including in private, as are certain batons and truncheons. But other items will also become offensive weapons if you brandish them as such in public, including pieces of sporting equipment like baseball bats and cricket bats.
For many of us in this country, guns aren't really a part of life.
And, of course, we also have heavily restricted firearms, which includes pepper spray, something Americans in particular might be surprised to learn is illegal here too.
Oh, wow.
Have you ever
That is
accidentally
surprising.
broken any of these laws? Let us know below.
And it's frustrating for me that you tell somebody that you own a gun and you're instantly a weirdo.
Do you agree with our picks?
I think the only thing that's shocking about that is that they're called offensive weapons, because immediately I think of a gun with the word f on the side or something like that. It seems like a very British term. That weapon is offensive. Take it away. Even cricket bats can be an offensive weapon, depending on how you use it. What weapons are not offensive is my question. Are knives offensive? Knives are offensive, right? But you can carry a knife around. What about a Swiss Army knife? What about a brick? I guess if you are throwing it at someone, it's an offensive weapon. Anything can be an offensive weapon, I guess, depending on how you use it. The place where I used to work, this father and son came in both with guns on their, like, in a holster on their side, like cowboys. And they were wearing, like, shorts and t-shirts, Nike shoes, like, they're just regular dudes. And they had handguns on their hips. It was shocking. And we weren't allowed to say anything because they had open carry, whatever, license, permits. It was scary though. It's scary to think that this person that I'm just meeting has the capacity to kill me in an instant. It's kind of scary. I think banning offensive weapons, just to be clear, is a good thing. I like that. We shouldn't have offensive weapons. Anyway, Have I knowingly broken any of these things? Being in public. Now, that one, I've done that. When was the last time I did that? Ooh, don't remember. It's probably been years. But I'd do it right now if I had to. Being drunk in a pub. I've done that. I have done that. Just broke a couple of them. Being in public and being drunk in a pub. I've done both of those in New Orleans. These were shocking things that are banned in the UK. Yeah. Wow. I thought I knew it all, but I'm learning new stuff every day still about the United Kingdom. Anyway, thank y'all for recommending this video. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Later.